Okay. Yesterday, we started quadratic formula, right? We did these 3 problems. They got erased overnight, so I didn't rewrite them in. But we talked about quadratic formula. The only reason I put this screen up is, here's your quadratic formula, right? Right there at the top of your page. You just heard the German Fox sing it. I don't know. That tune sticks in my head. So, of the quadratic formula songs I have, that is probably the best one I can do for you.
Thank you.
Now, in your class, am I correct in thinking we got through examples A, B, C, and we're ready for the word problem?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it then. So, let's look at this word problem and go from there. Your school's jazz band is selling CDs as a fundraiser. The total profit, P, depends on the amount, X, that your band charges for each CD. The equation, love when they give us an equation.
Yeah.
P equals negative x squared plus 48x minus 300 models the profit of the fundraiser. What is the least amount in dollars you can charge for a CD to make a profit of $200? Okay. Thoughts here? Okay. They give us an equation, right? And set it equal to what? The fact that they give me this equation, and this equation represents profit, right? And what are we doing here?
Can you just put 200 where the P is?
Yep. Because this equation represents profit, we want to know what is the least amount we can charge to make that profit. So since the profit of 200, this is going to be our P value. So we're going to say 200 equals negative x squared plus 48x minus 300. Now, based on what we went through yesterday, how are we solving this?
Does it equal 0?
Okay, we need to have the equation equal to 0, right? Typical quadratic step, does the equation equal 0?
No, it
Okay. It equals 200. How do I make it equal 0? Subtract the 200 over. So then I'm going to end up with 0 equals negative x squared plus 48x minus 500.
Yep.
Assuming I've copied that right. Negative 300 minus 200 is negative 500. Okay. Now, if we wanted, we could try factoring, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's not factorable. There are not numbers that multiply to be 500 and add to be 48. So we've talked about the whole point of this quadratic formula lesson is this is our backup plan, isn't it? So, I don't know, you guys want to tell me your ABCs?
-1.
Okay. A is -1 because it's in front of x squared.
B is 48.
B is 48 because it's in front of x. And C?
300. 500.
C is negative 500 because it's the constant at the end. Okay. Write this quadratic formula out, guys. X equals negative B, negative 48, plus or minus the square root, B squared, so 48 squared, minus 4 times A, which is -1, times C, which is negative 500, all over 2 times -1. Okay. That is an important step right there, guys. Get it written out. See what we can do. Okay. Negative 48 plus or minus, okay, square root of, well, this is where you're thankful for calculators, right? 48 squared. 2,304. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 500 is 2,000, because 4 times 5 is 20, tack on 2 zeros. A negative times a negative times a negative, it's going to be a negative. 2 negatives multiplied by a positive, but then when you multiply another negative, you're back to negative.
Fair.
All over negative 2. Keep going. Negative 48 plus or minus the square root of 304 all over negative 2. What's the square root of 304?
A decimal.
304.
Okay, it's the square root of 304, but it is also a decimal, right? Now, okay, we're in a word problem. Go back and look at what's the question asking.
At least
How
we
much
got
will you make?
What is the least amount in dollars to get this profit?
So you do want.
So exactly, we do want a decimal here. Because, and even though it's not going to be a nice decimal, we want that decimal because you're not going to tell someone, oh, the least amount we can charge in dollars is negative 48 plus square root of 304 over negative 2.
You're doing money.
Yeah, we need to get to money here, right? We need to think money. Now, I will say I use 3 decimal places until we get to the end, and then I round it back to 2. So, negative 48 plus or minus square root of 304 was 17 point what?
4.435595.
I'm using 436
Okay.
over negative 2. And here's my reasoning. I eventually want 2 decimal places, right? So I went 1 extra decimal place so that then when I round back to 2 decimal places, we'll still be accurate. That's what I did. Okay? So, now realize, we actually need to find 2 answers, right? We need to find negative 48 plus 17.436 divided by negative 2, and negative 48 minus 17.436 divided by negative 2. Use your calculator, right? I encourage you to try this alongside of us. When you do this on the calculator, I would recommend you enter the top, hit equals before you hit divide by negative 2. Otherwise, depending on your calculator, it might not do the right calculations. So negative 48 plus 17.436, and then divide by negative 2. What are we getting for that one?
15.282.
15.282. Negative 48 minus 17.436. Divide by negative 2.
32.7.
Okay. So my question becomes, what answer do you want to give me?
Both. Well, it's the least, so when you just do the 15.
Okay. What is the least amount
Oh, 15.
in dollars?
$15.29.
Yeah. So the point is that both of these amounts, based on this profit equation, both $15.28 and $32.72 would give you a profit of $200. And it's based on that equation. Okay? The question asks, what is the least amount you could charge? And that would be the $15.28. Always go back and read that equation, that question, right? That's something with word problems. Don't just jump in and leave it at random answer. Go back and read. What did they really want? Okay? So this is just more practice on quadratic formula.
Could you just plug that in for x and solve the equation?
Yes. I will say because 15.28 is rounded, it would come up very close,
Yeah.
both 15.28 and 32.72. You put them in, they're going to that original equation, they're going to give you about 200.
Okay.
It might be like 199.99 or, 200.001, but it would be close. Right. It would be close. Okay. Questions on quadratic formula? You need to know how to use quadratic formula, right? Okay. The rest of our lesson is about something called the discriminant. Okay? So the discriminant is this specific portion of b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so in other words, b squared minus 4ac is the part that's under the radical, under the square root. And so that b squared minus 4ac is called the discriminant. And that discriminant can help tell us how many answers you're going to get. Okay? Now, most of the time, we get 2 answers, don't we? Because it's plus or minus the square root of some number. And that is true as long as b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, in other words, positive, then there will be 2 real solutions if you get a positive under that square root. However, okay, what if, I'm going to jump for a moment, what if b squared minus 4ac equals 0?
There's only one real solution.
There's only one, and we had that happen on the middle example yesterday, right? Where we got x equals negative 3 or x equals negative 3. My b squared minus 4ac was 0. And so that's an example of when the discriminant is 0, you get only one solution. Now, the other, when b squared minus 4ac is
Negative.
less than 0 or negative.
There's no.
Why are there no real solutions? If b squared minus 4ac is negative, that means you're trying to take the square root of a negative. Can we take the square root of a negative value?
No.
No, not yet.
Nice.
Okay? Not in the real number world. We cannot take the square root of a negative value. Okay? Notice I say not yet, but for today, we're only in the real number values. We cannot take the square root of a negative. And so there are no real solutions. Okay? So we're going to use the discriminant here. Example A. How many real solutions are there? Is it asking me what the solutions are?
No.
No. So do I need to go through the whole quadratic formula?
No.
No. Your shortcut is using b squared minus 4ac because it's asking how many real solutions. Now, before we can use b squared minus 4ac, your equation still needs to equal
Yeah.
0. Because otherwise you don't have the right ABC values. So does my equation equal 0?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Maybe you write these down, maybe you don't. What is A?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. It's in front of x squared. What is B?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. It's in front of x. What is C?
5.
It's 5. It's the number added or subtracted at the end. So you plug those values in, and we want to see b squared minus 4ac. We want to see what kind of value that turns out to be. So b squared means I'm doing negative 3 squared minus 4 times negative 2 times 5. I say this every time, folks. B squared. What do we know about negative 3 squared?
It's 3.
It's 9.
9.
It's 9?
Yeah.
Okay, the point is, and I think this might have been the point Justin was trying to make, it is positive, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. You entered that incorrectly in your calculator. Your calculator is going to tell you negative 9.
If you why?
Because you have to put your parentheses around the negative 3 to get your calculator to do it right.
So if I put it around the negative 3, it'll give me a right one.
It should.
If you put parentheses around your negative 3 and then square it in your calculator will give you the right answer. Okay? If you put negative 3 squared without the parentheses, your calculator thinks you're wanting to say the negative of 3 squared, as opposed to squaring negative 3. Okay? You have to be smarter than the calculator, which is what I'm trying to teach here. You have to beat the calculator. Okay, let's see. 4 times 2 is 8, times 5 is 40. A negative times a negative is positive. I don't even have to finish this problem to know what I need to know. Okay? 9 plus 40 is going to result in a positive, right? I mean, yes, it's 49, but here's what I need to know.
Is it positive?
49 is positive. Because I got positive values, how many real solutions are there? 2.
49 and negative.
No.
Right?
There are 2 solutions to the actual problem. We don't know what those solutions are. Okay?
Do we have to?
No. What we know right here is there are 2 real solutions. And that's all you're asked. Now, if we had to find the solutions, we'd have to go back and set up the whole quadratic formula. And we just know what's under the square root is 49, and so it'd be plus or minus 7 on top. But we still have to go back and do the other parts. Questions there? Okay. B. I want to know, if we were to work this quadratic formula out, how many solutions am I going to get? So the first big issue is
It's not equal to 0.
it's not equal to 0. So don't give me ABCs until
Yeah, equal to 0.
it's equal to 0. So how do you guys want to get this equal to 0?
Subtract x squared over.
Okay. And if we were trying to factor, I would disagree because I don't like negative x squareds. But it's not about factoring, right? So that's fine. If we subtract the negative x squared over, I'm going to have 0 equals negative x squared plus 6x plus 5. ABCs?
A is negative 1.
A is negative 1.
B is 6.
B is 6.
C is 5.
And C is 5. Okay? And so now we're going to use
The b
B
squared
squared
minus
minus
4.
4 is C.
So b squared, 6 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 5. 6 squared is 36. 4 times 1 is 4 times 5 is 20. A negative times a negative makes it positive 20. What do you know about 36 plus 20? It's 56. More importantly, it's greater than 0, which you guys said the right thing. It is positive. Okay? Because it's positive, again, there are 2 real solutions. See?
I like this one better than the quadratic
This
formula.
one's so much.
Well, and, I mean, it doesn't. The thing is, it's not giving us the answers. But this is, if it's just asking you how many solutions, that's what we're doing here.
We have like a test just like
Okay.
on
That's
that.
okay.
First question to yourself:
Does it equal 0?
does my equation equal 0?
Yes.
Yes, equals 0. So I'm going to go
A equals
A is 2. It's in front of x squared. B,
negative 3.
negative 3. It's in front of x. C, 7. It's a constant at the end. B squared minus 4AC. Here we go.
Negative 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times 7. And 9 minus 3.
B squared, hold on,
Okay.
negative 3, quantity squared, minus 4, times A is 2, times C is 7. What is negative 3 squared?
9.
Positive 9. Don't let your calculator mislead you and say negative 9. Some of you will do that. 4 times 2 is 8, times 7 is
56.
56. There was just the minus in the middle. So 9 minus 56,
Negative 47.
a negative, right?
Yes.
I mean, I agree, not disagreeing. It is negative 47.
So
But the key I need to know is that it is
no,
negative, which means
no solution.
no real solutions. That's what less than 0 means in the math world, negative. So now I'm going to say no real solutions. Now, keep in mind, guys, a lesson for after Thanksgiving, there are imaginary solutions.
No.
We'll talk about that in lesson 4.9, I think it is. 4.8, 4.9, something like that.
We can skip that
Now.
for the Christmas gift.
Please listen.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a silly question. If you're asked how many solutions and you have to put a number, what is no real solutions equivalent to?
0.
0. I know that's a silly thing to mention,
We're so smart.
but Math Excel is not going to let you put no real solutions. They're going to want to know how many, and you might have to put 0. Okay? Okay, word problems. Where am I at on time? Because I know I'm behind today.
Oh, we have like 10 minutes still.
I know, but if my life wasn't complicated right now, you guys would have work time. So, okay. And actually, my plan is we only need to do one of these. Okay?
Is it like a 2-part question?
The second part is kind of redoing the first part just with a different number. So, we're gonna go through the first part, and then we'll have what we need. The second part is just kind of a separate question. So, okay. You hit a golf ball into the air from a height of 1 inch above the ground with an initial velocity of 85 feet per second. So there's your background story. The function h equals negative 16t squared plus 85t plus 112 models the height in feet of the ball at time t in seconds. That equation they just told us takes care of that first sentence. The fact that it was hit at a velocity of 85 feet per second, that's already in that equation.
We basically did.
The fact that it was started at a height 1 inch above the ground, that's 1/12, because it's 1/12 of a foot above the ground. So they've already taken care of that first sentence. You don't have to stress about, oh, how am I going to use that? That's just background. Now, the question is, will the ball reach a height of 115 feet? So what do we want to do with that 115?
Plug it in. Plug in the H.
Okay, so the question, will the ball reach height of 115 feet? So we're using the equation h equals negative 16t squared plus 85t plus 112. But yes, we're going to plug 115 here because we want to know, will it reach the height? Of course, to do anything related to this lesson,
Has to be equal to 0.
has to be equal to 0. So how do I make this equal to 0? Subtract 115 from both sides. 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 85t 1/12 minus 115. Okay, try and think logically with me. If you have 115 and you subtract 1/12,
114 and 11/12.
I'll take it.
How did you get that?
She's subtracting it as well.
So the idea being, okay guys, the idea being is that 115 is equivalent to 114 and 12/12ths, right? Like, because 115 has 115 holes. 114 is 114, 12/12ths is another hole. And so then you're able to subtract 1/12, which makes it 114 and 11/12ths. Now, the calc there can give you a decimal answer, right? Okay.
Fraction.
You can, you just have to know how to do it. Okay. But here's the deal, guys. And I'm going to leave it as 114 and 11/12 because it'll work for what I need.
That's what it's.
Okay. What do I need to do to finish this problem? Will the ball reach a height of 115? Does it ask at what time? No. So do I need to find t? No. What did we just learn at the bottom of the previous page?
It can be no solution.
We talked about the discriminant, right? And the discriminant finds, is there two solutions, one solution, or
Zero.
no solutions? So how can the discriminant help me here? If I find the discriminant and there's one or two solutions, will it reach a height of 115 feet?
Yes.
It will. If I use the discriminant and I find out there are no real solutions, then will it reach a height of 115 feet? No. So what we're doing here is we're saving us from having to use the whole big quadratic formula. It's an application of using just the discriminant. Okay, you ready to try it? Okay, b squared. 85 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times negative 14, 114, and 11 twelfths. I'm sorry, I did not identify my ABCs. Please forgive me.
I did it myself.
It was unforgivable.
I'm guessing at this point you either did it yourself or you're over identifying your ABCs and you just use them. So,
Not quite.
I don't care which way you guys go. Here we go. A, B, C. There's my ABCs.
Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now, okay, you guys can do 85 squared, 7,225.
I think I got it. I'm working on it here.
Sorry, switching this over. I was going to demonstrate on my calculator.
I think I got it.
Okay.
Oh.
I think the
That was weird.
that was very weird. I did not know it could do that. I think the microphone picked me up and like reverberated there, and yeah. Oof. Okay, I'm trying to get this so you guys can see this. It's being difficult, but
Kind of slow.
Right there.
okay, we'll see.
I look like this.
Okay, so I'm going to do 4, but and here's my thing. I know a negative times a negative times a negative is going to be a negative. I know some of you guys mess with putting the negatives down on the calculator because you need it. I don't mess with putting negatives down on the calculator. 4 times 16 times, and here's what I'm going to do. 114, and then if I use my ABC button, you guys know what I mean by the ABC button?
Nope. The decimal button?
Yeah.
Or the
Oh, the fraction button?
That button.
ABC button. So 114, ABC button, 11, ABC button, 12ths. I believe that will work as 114 and 11 twelfths.
I know. Full different answer.
And
Oh, no.
this is the number we should be getting. I believe so. Yep. 7,354.6 repeating. Now, what happens when we do 7,225 minus 7,354.6 repeating?
Negative 129.
You're going to get a negative. For the record, it is negative 129.6 repeating.
That was off.
But that is less than 0. That is a negative. So that means there are no real solutions. Now, how do I answer this problem? Will the ball reach a height of 115 feet?
No,
No,
because there are no 115 feet.
No. That's the short of it. Now, I wasn't going to take time to do the next part. The next part just changes the number to 110. So basically, you change the 115 to 110, you redo the problem. Guess what? If you're trying to work it,
Not a real solution. It's gonna be
on the 110, here, wait. On the 110 here, it works out to be a yes. Okay? And that's because you get a positive value.
See, on the
Okay.
first one, I tried to do the wheel. It didn't work for me.
Lesson 4.7 in Math Excel is due when? Tomorrow? You know what? Think to yourselves tomorrow. Then you'll all have it done for Monday.
Exactly.
And then I can be happier with you guys on Monday, right?
That's why we said tomorrow. You're being smart.
I'm testing quick.